Okay, good evening, everybody. This is Joanne, Shearer, Parkin, and I want to thank you for joining the team training call for tonight. Just so great that all of you could hop on and join us. And tonight I'm going to be talking about the invitation and the invite. It seems this is an area where a lot of people struggle. And so hopefully we can give you some really great tips, and you'll be able to go home with some nuggets tonight that'll really help you to be more successful in this area. And then I will be conducting the training for about 15 minutes, and then we're really excited to have Dr. Frank Hatch on tonight. He will be talking about NERV2 activation, particularly about what NERV2 has really done for his family and some of the health benefits for him personally and within his family. So it's going to be really exciting to have him come on with us tonight. So he'll join us in a little bit here. So what I'm going to do is just share my screen real quick, and I have a few slides, and I'm going to share tonight, just kind of help me to have a little visual here to kind of help keep us all on track here. So let's see if I can find my presentation here. I was right here. Let me get this off here. Just take a minute. There we go.
You might explain later on.
This is the, kind of got the wrong PowerPoint here. Just a minute. Let me see if I can find it. Well, I guess I will go ahead and use Maria's. So work. All right. Get my, get rid of that. Excuse me, everybody, just a little operator problem here. See if I can get rid of this here. I can skip my screen. Okay, here we go. All right. So tonight I'm going to be talking to you about the invite. And as I said before, so many people, when they join the business, this is an area where they really struggle. And I think that's so important when you're with the invite is number one is to be yourself. That is really important, so that your personality comes across, so that you're you, that you don't try to be somebody else. And I think when I started, I would just listen to so many different recorded audio recordings, and I would try to, write down word for word, script by script. And that really did help to some extent. But what I eventually did was I just found an approach and something that really fit me and fit my personality, so it didn't come across as being scripted. And I think that's really important. And I think your passion is really more important than what you really say. I think your passion, your belief, just that is going to speak volumes more so than just trying to find exactly the right words and how to approach and how to invite. And so that would be my number one recommendation. And I think the other thing too is to make it personal when you're inviting people, when you're inviting them to see the opportunity. Your invite is going to be more about them, and you want to make it about them and not about you. And you really want to come across as really offering them a solution to a problem. And when you do that, you're not going to come across as selling. You're actually going to be coming across as really trying to be providing value to them. When I started back in 2011, I was, we were in a new market in Sioux Falls, and we really didn't have any training on how to invite. Probably for the first 3 months that I joined the business, I really didn't have any training, because we were new and we're in a new market. And so I just was excited. I had heard Dr. Mark Gordon, and he had invited me. He said, you have to learn about this breakthrough that's nutrition, and I know you'd want to know about this. And so I went, and I actually was excited. So the next day I was sitting there and having lunch with my girlfriend, and I told her, I said, you got to know about this. I just used his approach, hey, you really need to know about this. It's the next big breakthrough in nutrition and science. And she was excited. Oh yeah, I need to know about this. And so that's just kind of, how I got started. And I think also a mistake I made though in the beginning, and many people make this mistake. That's just real common because you're excited. You're all excited because you have something you really want to share. You feel that you're passionate. It's going to change their health. It can change their wealth. And sometimes, in my case, what I did was I said too much. And I really feel that in the beginning, I did lose some really, I shouldn't say lose, but I really didn't make progress with some of my contacts and my prospects because I just said too much, and I'm telling them they have to know about nerve 2 activation, and it activates these enzymes in your body, and you just got to try this product. It's just amazing. And, after about 2 to 3, 4, 5 minutes of trying to convince them they need to try the product, they just kind of got turned off. But anyway, so if you choose the appropriate invite that fits them, I thought of you because when we were working at company XYZ, you were great as a team leader. I just started with a new company and I'm putting together a team, and I thought of you because of your leadership skills. And I just would love to sit down and share with you some information. I'm not sure that this would be for you, but if we could get together for lunch next week, I could just share something that I'm excited about. So I think if you could make it personal about them, then they will be more apt to say yes. Something as simple as, hey, I found our plan B. We were talking the other day, that we were looking for a plan B, that we needed to get out of where we are. And I mean, our jobs, we're in these dead-end jobs. We're not going anywhere. Hey, I think I found something that will help, that we can do together, that we could team up and really make this work. How about this one? I know you're tired of your job. I found an exit strategy. Let's get together and have lunch. How about this one? I'm at the ground floor with a publicly traded company with game-changing technology. And I thought of you because you have been at the forefront at work of some amazing new projects. And I think that you would really see this and that the way I did. How about this one? I'm excited about new business opportunity, and I thought of you. Are you interested in second source of income? How about this one? I'm looking for business partners for a new venture I've started. How about based on what you said when we were together last week, you said that your hours at work are just killing you. If I could show you a way that could help to set you free and give you more time, would you be interested in sitting down with me for 10 minutes over lunch? And another good line is that this might not be for you, or might not be for you. One thing that you have to remember is that you are the messenger and not the message. Remember I said earlier, that's a mistake I made. I said too much. I oversold. I actually kind of turned people off. So it's important to be high energy and to be positive, but you also need to be in a hurry. Another good approach is to compliment them and say something about, I really admire your entrepreneurship and you're so savvy at business and you're so business minded. I've just joined this publicly traded company and I would just love to run it by you and get your input, get your feedback, see what you think about it. So if I would, if I could sit down with you next week over lunch, would that work for you? Then you want to get a commitment and you want to set the date. You want to confirm the time. And then you want to schedule it. You want to follow up and you want to get them an email. And then you want to have your, just of my time here, you want to make sure that they're firm about the time. Now, what I have done is when I have set a time when we're going to get together, and I can tell you that my experience over the years has been, you are really going to have greater success if you can sit down with people nose to nose, face to face. That's where you're going to be able to look them in the eye and you can ask them on a scale of 1 to 10 what we've talked about today. Where are you and where are you in your decision about joining me on this venture? So I think that's been my experience has been the best success has been when you can sit down with them nose to nose. So when you're doing that, and I have done this, is that you get the time, you confirm the date, you follow up with I usually follow up with a text message to confirm the time and the date. I do this as well if I'm inviting people to a home meeting, or maybe it's a big group meeting somewhere. I will send them reminders 2 days before, and I will send them a reminder the day of. Just really important, because people get busy and they forget. One thing that's really important when you're inviting is to be in a hurry. You want to say, hey, do you have a few seconds? I'm just running out the door. Just wanted to just tell you about something I'm really excited about. I thought of you because I'm just joining this company. I'm trying to put together a team. And, we worked so great in the past before, and I've seen you in leadership roles. Can we get together? So you always want to say, I'm in a hurry. Can we get together? Because you don't really want to spend the time in engaging them in a conversation. You want to get the whole, you want to get the whole presentation in front of them. That's important. So be in a hurry. Don't say too much. Get them to confirm and get them to commit. So here's a great suggested invite. I love this because it includes all of the key concepts on a great invite. Notice that she says, do you have a second? Great. I only have a second too. She's in a hurry, right? I just got involved in a new business. I want to share some information with you. This may or may not be for you. Again, you're going to take it away from them. This may not be for you. But I thought of you because you're going to give her or him a compliment, right? You're such a great leader, and I'm looking for a few key people, and I'm trying to put a team together. If this grabs your attention like it did for me, I want to introduce you to one of my business partners. So you're already setting up the stage for the third-party validation, right? So this is a great invite. If I sent you a 10-minute video from an ABC Primetime Investigative Report, would you watch it? If I would you is a great invite because you're actually getting their permission. If I sent you, would you watch it? You're going to get them to commit. Yes, what is it? Well, I don't have time right now, so when can you watch it? So if they don't have time right now, they'll say, well, they say tonight. So if I called you about 8 p.m., well, you'll have watched it? Yes. And then you get the email where you can send the link, or you say, I will text it to you. I text the link. Text messaging is a better way to communicate and a better way to get the message to people. And so you send the link, and then you call them at 8 p.m. and then you can do that follow-up. You ask them what impressed you the most, what grabbed your attention, and then be prepared to do the three-way call. This is really very, very similar to exactly what I did when I got started, and I had great success with this. Actually, what I would do is I would call people because I had very limited time. I was a very busy professional, and so I had just a couple nights a week when I could do phone calls. And this is the day before we had text messaging, and I would do a lot of this with text messaging today. But I would just call them, ask them, are you home near your computer? Do you have 10 minutes? If they weren't home, I would say, when will you be home? Will you be near your computer? And when you have 10 minutes. And when they would commit to being at home, or when we could talk, then I would send them the link, and I would have the conversation with them. And I would ask them right then and there, and once we'd have that conversation, what impressed you? What grabbed your attention? And then I would ask them on a scale of 1 to 10, how interested are you in being a customer right now? And once they'd say, well, I'm very interested, I'm a 9. And I would say, well, before I explain that to you, let me talk to you about, let me ask you another question. Are you interested, and how interested would you be in sharing this with others? And so once I got that kind of commitment, then I would then just go directly to my website, and I would enroll them right then and there. And that worked really great for me. So that was something that I had great success with. One thing that's really important is to build relationships with people. And I can tell you that when we moved to our new retirement community down in Arizona, that this is one thing that when I was in a new community, that it took time. It takes time to build relationships. And so I would just spend time. I wasn't thinking about, approaching them necessarily about the business. I was just thinking about just building friends and just getting to know people. And as I did that, and after several months, I started getting to know people and what their needs were. Then it was very easy for me to start the conversation. Because I would say, last week when we were having that conversation, you were telling me that you're struggling with this tremor. If I could show you something that could help that, would you be interested in sitting down with me and taking a look at that? So as I built the relationship, I found different needs in people's lives, whether it be either for their health or for their wealth. And so I noticed, for example, that my neighbor next door was working part-time jobs in the community. So I just called her up one day and I said, Gail, do you keep your options open when you're looking for part-time income? And she said, well, yes, I do. And I said, well, great. I said, I have a home-based business and I've helped many people with my business to become very successful and build some residual income part-time. I said, would you be open for lunch on Tuesday? Can we get together on Tuesday and we can just sit down and chat? And so that's an approach that I've used with some of the part-time people that are still working in my community. But I think, just building those relationships and finding, just to genuinely show interest in people. I'm going to skip that and I'm going to end with this. And this really kind of says it all when it comes to really being successful at inviting and really getting people to sit down with you so that you can share the information. I think it's all about your passion. It's about your belief, and not so much about what you say. It's more about how you say it and with what kind of passion. So with that, I'm going to stop and I'm going to bring on Dr. Hatch. And Dr. Hatch, I know, is on. We were having a little chat earlier. So I'm going to give Dr. Hatch a little invitation. And this is a little bit about Dr. Hatch. And so Dr. Hatch is married to Mary Lou, his wife of 33 years, and he has 6 amazing children. And he's been a chiropractor in private practice for over 25 years, and he uses a wellness model and has a large referral-based practice. He has trained and taught other physicians in applied kinesiology using the Brim Hall technique, and he has recently converted his practice into a functional medicine integrated practice. Dr. Hatch was introduced to LifeVantage just 3 years ago by his cousin, Brett Brim Hall. So most of us know Dr. Brett, don't we? And he was impressed by the research on the products and began to see the power and the benefits of the products that had on the people, and especially for the people in his family and in his life. And so, Dr. Hatch, are you there?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, fantastic. So take it away.
Awesome. Welcome, everyone. I don't have slides to show because I actually brought some live slides with me today. So I was asked to present a little bit on Nerve 2. I love this company. I love this product. For 7 months, I took a step back as I converted my practice into an integrative model. And my business grew 46% during that time. So talk about the power of residual income. I wasn't even plugged in really in full, but I had to have some time away so I could get the practice up, so I could take time away now to start rebuilding this business. And I'm grateful I did that. In that, I've actually been able to see many, many miracles. When I first heard about Protandim and Nerve 2 activation, I started thinking, I've been in nutrition for over 25 years, teaching people how to change their life through restoring the normal gut flora, restoring the digestive enzymes, taking fish oils and doing the things that could help them regain their life. And when I was introduced to this, I went to a evening party with my cousin Brett. It was a night that my dad was in the hospital. I'd been staying with him. He had been battling multiple myeloma cancer. Not really battling that. He had actually done really well. About the last 6 weeks, he got sick with uremic infection, and we ended up in the hospital. And so I was staying with him in the last few weeks of his life. And as I was there with him, Brett came by and said, hey, I want you to go with me to a meeting and just hear about something. On our way over there, we actually talked a little bit about this Kerry Williams individual that everybody knows. I like to joke about it. But as we talked about it, he says, told me the story about Kerry's son, Luke. And that kind of caught my attention because I have a daughter that really struggles with learning disabilities such as ADD and ADHD. So when I heard that story, I went on ahead because I knew I was going to Dr. Melody Ridardi's home. And I thought, well, this would be cool. I'll get to visit with some people. As I got there, one of the questions was asked me is, what do you know about network marketing? And I told Kerry, I know enough to stay out of it. And now here I am 3 years later in this company. I'm grateful I said yes. I'm grateful that Brett shared it with me. So I'm going to actually let you hear, Maria asked me if I would share with you some of the stories of my family and what we've seen. I can tell you on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, I watch people come out of chronic, severe pain using these products, which is amazing, at a much more rapid pace than what I was using in the past. So I'm grateful I've been introduced to this. So I'm going to start with my lovely wife, Mary Lou. We've been married actually now 33 years. I forgot to change that number on there. So 33 and a half years. So I'm going to let her talk here just a moment and share her story of how she got onto the product. Mary Lou?
Okay, so I was a little resistant, a little hesitant to start taking these products because I guess I'm just stubborn, and I kind of, I don't know, was doubtful and have not had super great experiences with nutritional products. So I resisted for what, about 18 months. And I finally, well, what happened is my husband earned a trip to the cruise to the Caribbean, or no, the Mediterranean cruise. And I went with him on that wonderful trip, and we had a great time and met a lot of wonderful people. But prior to the trip, I developed a case of plantar fasciitis, and my feet were killing me. And we were, at the ports, getting off the boat and going and walking around Europe, and my feet, I was miserable. I was in pain. I wanted to enjoy what was going on, but it was a challenge. And, I pushed through. I enjoyed the trip, but I was in pain. And so I had tried some braces. I didn't do anything real severe. Some chiropractic treatments and things did help give me some relief and whatnot. But basically what happened was, after the trip, I decided, well, I'll give this product a shot. I'll give it a try. So I started taking it, and it wasn't like, oh my goodness, my feet are well, but it was over a period of time. I can't even say how long, because it was like I didn't even realize it. It was like one day I got out of bed and I was like, oh, my feet they don't hurt when they touch the ground. I'm not in pain anymore. So the only thing I can really attribute it to is that I was taking that product. I didn't do much else to help with the problem. Additionally, all of my results were kind of just like that. I had some female issues that were not major problems, but just kind of something that if it didn't resolve, it could have become a big problem. And it kind of just went away on its own with this product. And then, let's see, I had, just kind of, I'd get a little bit of congestion in the mornings when I'd wake up in my chest and my throat, and that kind of just went away on its own. And what else?
Your brain fog.
Oh, obviously it's not working today. No, but no, it's the Axio definitely helps me with my energy and my my brain clarity. And so I would say that all of the symptoms and problems I was having were not like major problems, but they were small problems that left unaddressed. They could have become big problems. And I'm grateful that they kind of just resolved with this taking of this little yellow pill.
Awesome.
So
thanks, Mary Lou.
Yep.
All right, I'm going to let my daughter Allison share her story. Allison, you can tell them a little bit about what you've done the last 18 months and then just not a lot of time there, just tell them where you've been and then how long you've been on the product. Okay.
Okay.
Tell your story like you did the other night.
Okay. Well, like my dad, he has always, I always struggled in school. I've always been such a slow reader. I wouldn't comprehend what I was reading. I was failing. There was many times where I was failing. I'd get C's and D's, and my sophomore year, I almost failed. I almost failed high school at sophomore year. Sophomore year is not very hard, but I just had a lot of struggles, and my dad, he'd always put me on different products to see what he can do to help me improve. And some of it, I'm pretty sure, have helped, but nothing really, I guess, ended that struggle for me. And so when he heard about this with Carrie Williams and her son Luke, he decided to use me again as a guinea pig, and he put me on this product. And I didn't just realize it just like that, but I did start to notice that I was starting to comprehend what I was reading. I started to read a little bit faster, and my grades were improving. He started me on this in the beginning of my junior year. And so by the end of my junior year, by the end of my graduation, I was able to get A's and B's, and I was able to graduate with an honors. I was able, and that's just in the year and a half, I was able to do that. So that by itself showed a great dramatic change between where I was before and where I am now. And now I have been able to do things that I never even dreamed of. I have been able to, I just served a mission for 18 months. I just came back from Alabama a couple of weeks ago. And so that's my story. I've seen this product work on me, and I can testify that this is real. People who have physical disorders or mental disorders, they need this product to be able to help them.
Okay. Thanks, Allison. All right. Well, I think there's no more powerful story than that right there when you actually see that. And that's actually what really caught my attention and what got me into this. I am so grateful I was able to do that. So, you know, we can't say it cures, mitigates, or gets rid of any disease processes. But what we can see is that people, little by little, and even drastic immediate results, get results that are amazing. I had a patient in my office the other day, comes in and he says, can this stuff affect my blood pressure? I said, well, tell me why. I'm always a little leery on asking those questions. I'm afraid that they're loaded questions. He says, well, my blood pressure has went down where I think I need to go off my blood pressure medication. I said, oh, really? What's it going down to? He says, it's at 100 over 60, and it used to be at 131 to 140 over about 90. And he says, and that's on medications. I says, well, you know, I would actually go have that discussion. I can't tell you to go off of anything as a chiropractor, but I can tell you can make some changes by talking to your doctor. So he's pretty excited about it because he's seen a big drastic change. Nerf 2 is taking a fire hose to a lot of inflammation and oxidative stress in your body, which is a cause of all diseases. It's amazing. There's tons of studies on it for anybody that is on this and is just getting started into this business. Realize you have your hands on amazing products. I've been doing nutrition, as I said, for over 25 years, changing people's diets, changing their exercise plans, and I have not had the results or the drastic changes as I have had with this product. And I'm grateful that Brett took the opportunity to share it with me. I'm glad I actually broke the pact of never belonging to a network marketing company, because it's not only changed my life physically, my family's life physically, but it's changed my life financially as a plan B in the company. Thank you guys so much for being on.
Thank you, Dr. Hatch. Thank you so much for bringing on your family, your wife, your daughter. What an amazing story. You know, when you hear those stories, I mean, you just want to get out there and just, you know, go tell the world, and just think how many how many, young people and children that are struggling with the same issues and same problems, and we have solutions for people. And it's just, your story is your most powerful tool that you have in your tool chest as far as what this business is concerned. And I remember when I first joined the company, I heard that, facts tell, but stories sell. Your story is powerful, use it. My story has been that I have recently fractured my wrist, and I fractured my wrist in January playing pickleball. I tell people it's a sports injury. It has been amazing. I have had people join the company as distributors, and several customers as a result of my injury, because I have a story. My recovery and my healing from my injury was about 1/2 of what is typical, right, for someone my age. Well, so I had this just amazing recovery. And so people knew me that I was playing pickleball with, and I would show them. And in fact, I was just doing some very intensive manual labor today that normally you would not be able to do at this stage with my injury. So that my story had led to, like I said, to enrolling new distributors, new customers. And so use your story. It really is the most powerful tool that you have, is your own personal story. So Dr. Hatch, thank you so very much for joining us tonight. And thank you everybody that's been on tonight for our training. It's been wonderful. Thank you so much. I'm going to sign off, and I hope everyone has a very blessed week. Take care.
Thank you, Joanne. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Great call.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.